Tom and Lisa had always dreamed of a peaceful life in their small suburban neighborhood. The streets were quiet, the neighbors were friendly, and the houses were neat and well kept. It was the kind of place where kids could play outside safely, and adults could enjoy calm evenings on their porches. Tom loved the calm, but Lisa enjoyed knowing they were prepared for anything. Lisa had a background most people didn't know about. Before they met, she had served in the military. Her training gave her skills that Tom only admired from a distance. She rarely talked about it, preferring to focus on their life together. Tom, on the other hand, had always been careful and responsible. He liked having things organized, and one of his favorite hobbies was collecting antique items, some of which he kept in a small, secure safe in their home. One morning, Tom noticed something unusual. A letter had been slipped under their front door. It was from the Homeowners Association, but the tone seemed strange. It demanded that he meet with official HOA officers regarding some alleged violations. Tom frowned. They had always followed the rules, paying fees on time and keeping their lawn perfect. Nothing they did could justify an official visit like this. Lisa looked at the letter, her expression calm but alert. "It could be routine," she said. "Or maybe they are just confused. Let's not worry too much." But there was a hint of suspicion in her voice that Tom could not ignore. Later that day, as they were having breakfast, there was a knock at the door. Tom opened it to find two men in dark suits. They claimed to be officers from the HOA and insisted they needed to inspect the house. One of them pointed toward the safe and said it must be checked immediately. Tom felt a cold shiver. Something about their behavior did not feel right. Their tone was too forceful, too demanding. Lisa stepped forward, her presence calm but firm. "May I see your identification?" she asked. The men hesitated, glancing at each other. Tom noticed that their badges looked cheap, almost fake. They were sweating slightly, trying to appear professional. Lisa did not step back. She had been trained to recognize threats even if they were hidden behind polite words. "Why do you need to inspect our safe?" Tom asked, trying to sound confident. One of the men muttered something about safety and compliance but avoided giving clear answers. Tom felt a rising sense of unease. He glanced at Lisa, who was silently signaling him to stay calm. Lisa's hand rested lightly on the side of the counter near the safe. Tom felt reassured. He knew that if anyone tried to cross a line, Lisa could handle it. Her experience had taught her how to remain calm under pressure and how to protect her family without creating chaos. She looked at the men with steady eyes. "You are not leaving this property until you show proper credentials." "That is not negotiable." The men exchanged nervous glances. They had clearly not expected resistance. They had assumed that a homeowner would comply without question, but Lisa was different. She exuded a quiet strength that made Tom proud. Tom realized something important. They had been targeted because of something they had in their home, something personal. The safe held items of sentimental value, but more importantly, it represented a boundary that no one could cross without their permission. Tom felt his confidence grow as he stood next to Lisa. Together, they were strong. By the time the men left, claiming they would return with proper authorization, Tom and Lisa were already planning how to handle the situation. They would not be intimidated. The calm, peaceful neighborhood they loved would not be threatened by strangers pretending to have power. Tom looked at Lisa and smiled. He knew she had hidden strength, the kind that could protect them from anything unexpected. That morning, life seemed normal on the surface, but both of them knew it had changed. They were no longer just peaceful neighbors. They were a team, ready to face anything that came their way. And the story of the fake HOA officers was only beginning. After the men left, Tom felt uneasy. He kept glancing at the front door, wondering if they would really return. Lisa noticed his tension and placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We handled them well," she said calmly. "They were trying to scare us. That is all." Tom nodded, but he knew she was right. It had been unusual, but Lisa's presence had kept everything under control. They decided to review the house together. Lisa checked the locks, the windows, and even the backyard gates. Tom followed, double-checking the safe and their security system. Everything was exactly as it should be. The calm neighborhood seemed unchanged, but the events of the morning had left a mark. Tom realized that appearances could be deceiving. Even the quietest streets could hold surprises. Later that afternoon, Tom called a friend who worked in security. Some men came to my house claiming to be HOA officers, he explained. They wanted to see my safe. It felt wrong. The friend listened carefully and advised caution. Do not let anyone in without proper identification. Take notes, record names, and trust your instincts. Most likely, they are scammers. Tom felt relief knowing he was not imagining things. Meanwhile, Lisa prepared a plan. She had learned during her time in the military how to handle unexpected threats calmly. She instructed Tom on what to do if the men returned. Do not panic. Stay inside. I will handle the situation. The important thing is to stay together and stay calm. Tom trusted her completely. Lisa's confidence gave him courage he did not know he had. That evening, they went for a walk around the neighborhood. The sun was beginning to set, and the streets were bathed in golden light. Children played in yards, neighbors waved, and everything seemed peaceful. Yet Tom could not shake the feeling that someone might still be watching. Lisa held his hand and smiled. Do not worry, she said. We are safe. We are prepared. Tom smiled back. Her words felt like armor protecting him from fear. When they returned home, Tom noticed a small car parked at the end of the street. It was dark, and the driver seemed to be observing the houses. He tensed, but Lisa remained calm. She glanced at the car and then at Tom. Notice who is watching, but do not confront them. Let's see what they do next. Tom realized that Lisa's experience gave her the ability to remain steady, even when others were trying to intimidate them. Over the next few days, the couple became more vigilant. They checked the doors, windows, and security cameras regularly. Lisa even rearranged some items in the house to make sure nothing important could be accessed without their knowledge. Tom helped her, learning from her methods. He admired her skill, her patience, and her ability to stay calm under pressure. One afternoon, Lisa found a note slipped under the door. It was anonymous, warning them to cooperate with the HOA officers. Tom's heart raced, but Lisa remained composed. She took the note, examined it carefully, and placed it on the counter. This is not about rules or regulations, she explained. They are trying to scare us. We cannot let fear control us. We must stay smart and calm, Tom nodded. He could see that Lisa's strength was not only in her actions but also in her mind. By the end of the week, Tom realized something important. Their life had changed, but not in a bad way. They were stronger together, more aware of their surroundings, and ready to face challenges as a team. Lisa's experience had prepared them for situations most people would panic in, and Tom felt grateful for her guidance. That night, as they sat in the living room, Tom looked at Lisa and smiled. I guess we are ready for anything now, he said. Lisa smiled back, her eyes calm but determined. Yes, she said, and no one is going to take advantage of us. Not anyone. Tom felt a sense of peace knowing that together they could handle anything that came their way. The story of the fake HOA officers was only beginning, and Tom realized that the days ahead would test their courage, patience, and teamwork in ways they could not yet imagine. The following morning, Tom and Lisa were busy with their usual routines when there was a sharp knock at the door. Tom's stomach tightened. He exchanged a quick glance with Lisa, who remained calm but alert. Remember, she whispered, do not open the door until we know who they are. Through the peephole, Tom saw two men wearing dark jackets. They carried clipboards and wore serious expressions. At first glance, they looked official, but something about them seemed off. Lisa had taught Tom to notice small details. The men's shoes were dusty, their badges mismatched, and their posture was slightly unnatural. Tom shook his head slowly. These were the same people from before. Lisa stepped forward as the men knocked again. She opened the door just enough to speak. Good morning. How can I help you? The taller man cleared his throat. We are here on behalf of the HOA. We need to check your safe and other items inside for compliance. Lisa raised an eyebrow. Show me your credentials, she said firmly. The men fumbled with their papers and their faces tightened. They did not have proper identification. One of them muttered, We'll get it later. It's urgent. Lisa's eyes narrowed. She noticed the way their voices wavered. They were trying to pressure her, but she was not fooled. Tom, standing beside her, felt his confidence grow. He had seen Lisa handle situations calmly before, and now he felt he could trust her completely. You cannot come in, Lisa said. Without proper identification, this conversation is over. The men shifted their weight, clearly frustrated, but they did not push further. Lisa closed the door slowly and locked it. She turned to Tom and said, "We need to document this. Let's make a record of everything they do." Tom nodded and grabbed his phone. Together they began taking notes describing the men, their actions, and the times of their visits. Lisa suggested they also check the security cameras for any unusual activity around the house. As the day went on, Tom noticed small signs that someone was watching. A car passed slowly by the street several times. A neighbor mentioned seeing unfamiliar faces walking near their property. Lisa remained calm and reminded Tom that staying alert was the most important thing. "Notice patterns, but do not panic," she said. "They want a reaction. Let's not give them one." Later that afternoon, Lisa spoke with a former military contact. She explained the situation calmly. Her contact confirmed her suspicion. The men were likely impersonators trying to intimidate homeowners. Lisa thanked him and hung up. Tom watched her, amazed at how effortlessly she navigated the situation. She was focused, patient, and unafraid. That evening, they sat together in the living room. Tom realized how much he had learned from Lisa. Her ability to stay calm, plan ahead, and assess situations logically was something he wanted to adopt. "I never knew life could teach you so much in just a few days," he said. Lisa smiled softly. "It's about noticing details and staying steady. Fear can cloud judgment. Confidence clears it." The couple decided to take additional precautions. They rearranged the house slightly to make it harder for anyone to approach their belongings unnoticed. They updated their security system, added motion sensors, and placed cameras where they could see the front and back yards clearly. Tom felt a sense of control he had never experienced before. He realized that preparation and awareness were their strongest defenses. By the next morning, Tom and Lisa were ready for whatever came next. They had learned that appearances could be deceiving, and that calmness and planning could turn fear into strength. Lisa reminded Tom, "Whatever happens, we face it together. That is our advantage." Tom nodded, feeling more confident than ever. He knew that with Lisa by his side, he could stay calm even in uncertain situations. The fake HOA officers had not succeeded in intimidating them. In fact, the attempts had only made Tom and Lisa stronger, more aware, and more prepared. They were learning to expect the unexpected, and Lisa's skills were guiding them through it all. The challenge was far from over, but they were no longer afraid. They were ready. The following week, Tom and Lisa went about their daily life, but a quiet tension lingered. Every sound outside the house made Tom glance toward the windows. Lisa, however, remained calm, observing everything with a careful eye. She had learned in the military that staying alert without panic was the key to safety. One afternoon, a neighbor knocked on their door. "I saw 2 men walking near your house earlier today," the neighbor said. "They asked questions about your schedule and when you were home." Tom felt his stomach tighten, but Lisa simply nodded and thanked the neighbor. "We will handle it," she said calmly. Lisa and Tom went inside and reviewed their security footage. Sure enough, 2 men had walked slowly along the street, stopping near their house multiple times. They were taking notes as if trying to learn their routines. Lisa studied the footage carefully. "They are trying to find an opening," she said. "But they won't get one. We are ready." Tom admired her focus. She seemed calm, yet every movement was calculated. Later that evening, there was another knock at the door. This time, the men looked more nervous. Their suits were wrinkled, and they avoided making eye contact. Lisa stepped to the door and called through the glass. "May I help you?" The taller man cleared his throat. "We just need to speak with Mr. and Mrs. Green about compliance matters," he said. Lisa held her gaze steady. "I need to see proper identification. Until then, you are not allowed on this property." The men shuffled uncomfortably and muttered something about returning later. Lisa remained calm. She knew their attempts to intimidate were failing because she would not give in. Tom felt a mixture of pride and relief. Lisa had trained him to notice subtle signs of dishonesty, and he could see the fear in the men's eyes. They had expected to meet resistance, but not the quiet, steady confidence of someone who knew how to protect herself and her family. That night, Lisa discussed a plan with Tom. They would not confront the men directly again. Instead, they would gather evidence and inform the proper authorities. She explained how to document everything carefully: dates, times, behaviors, and any unusual activity around the house. Tom took notes eagerly. He felt empowered to help. knowing he had a clear role in protecting their home. Over the next few days, Lisa taught Tom simple techniques for assessing risk. They practiced recognizing unusual behaviors, learning to notice small details like the way someone walked, how they handled documents, or how often they appeared near the house. Tom realized that preparation and awareness were just as important as locks and cameras. Then one evening, a small envelope appeared on their porch. It contained a message: cooperate or face consequences. Tom's heart raced, but Lisa calmly read it. She explained that threats were only effective when they caused fear. "We will not be controlled by threats," she said. "We will respond with knowledge and preparation, not fear." Tom nodded, feeling a newfound sense of confidence. Lisa also reached out to a local neighborhood watch. She shared the details of the events and asked for assistance in observing unusual activity. The neighbors agreed, and soon a network of friendly eyes kept watch around the street. Tom was amazed at how quickly Lisa coordinated support without alarming anyone. Her ability to remain calm while taking decisive action impressed him greatly. As the week ended, Tom and Lisa felt a sense of accomplishment. The fake HOA officers had tried to intimidate them, but their plan had failed. They had turned fear into preparation and anxiety into awareness. Tom realized that their peaceful neighborhood did not mean safety would come automatically. It required vigilance, smart thinking, and teamwork. That night, as they sat together in their living room, Tom looked at Lisa with admiration. "I can't believe how calm you stayed," he said. Lisa smiled softly. "Experience teaches you that fear is only useful when it helps you make better decisions. Panic never helps." Tom understood that their life had changed. They were no longer just neighbors. They were a team capable of handling challenges together. The fake HOA officers had not yet given up, and Tom knew more challenges could be coming. But with Lisa by his side, he felt ready. They had learned to turn fear into strategy, uncertainty into awareness, and threats into lessons. Whatever came next, they would face it together, confident and unshaken. A few days after the threatening note, Tom noticed that the small car had returned to the end of their street. It moved slowly, as if the driver were observing each house. Tom's heart beat faster, but Lisa remained calm. She watched quietly from the window, noting the car's movements and the way the driver's eyes shifted constantly. "They're trying to figure out our routines again," Lisa said softly. "Stay calm and keep watching." Tom followed her instructions carefully. He realized that her calm approach made him feel less anxious. Together, they were learning to face the unexpected without panic. That evening, another knock came at the door. This time, the men were more cautious. They did not demand access, but they carried the same clipboards and tried to appear official. Lisa stepped forward, placing herself between Tom and the door. "May I help you?" she asked, her tone steady. "We just need a quick inspection," the shorter man said. "It will only take a few minutes." Lisa's eyes narrowed. "Show your identification," she said firmly. The men hesitated, glanced at each other, and then muttered something about coming back with papers. Lisa closed the door calmly, leaving them outside. Tom felt a mixture of fear and admiration. Fear, because these men were clearly persistent. Admiration, because Lisa handled the situation so calmly, without raising her voice or panicking. He realized that her ex-military training was not just about skills, it was about mindset. Her ability to stay steady in a tense moment gave them both confidence. That night, Lisa sat down with Tom and drew a simple plan. They would not confront the men again directly. Instead, they would focus on gathering information quietly. They checked security cameras, documented suspicious activity, and made notes of dates, times, and descriptions. Lisa emphasized that knowledge was their greatest tool. The next day, they took a walk around the neighborhood. Lisa suggested they observe the surroundings carefully, noting any unusual cars or people. Tom followed her instructions closely, learning how to pay attention to details he had never noticed before. He began to understand that staying aware could prevent problems before they happened. Later, Lisa contacted a local security expert she trusted. She explained the situation clearly, providing the notes and camera footage they had gathered. The expert advised them on ways to strengthen their security and recommended additional precautions. Lisa listened carefully and adapted their home's security system accordingly. Tom watched, impressed by her ability to coordinate help without panic or confusion. Over the next few days, Tom and Lisa felt a new sense of control. They were no longer just reacting. They were preparing. Lisa taught Tom how to identify unusual behavior, how to notice small signs that someone might be observing them, and how to stay calm when they did. Tom realized that preparation was more powerful than fear. One evening, a new note appeared on their porch. It was typed, not handwritten, and it read, "Cooperation is expected." Tom's heart raced, but Lisa smiled calmly. "They are trying to scare us again," she said. "Remember, fear only works if we let it. We will respond with caution and preparation, not panic." Tom nodded, feeling reassured. That night, they reviewed their plan again. Lisa explained how they would respond if the men returned. Remain calm, gather information, and never allow anyone inside without proper identification. Tom understood the importance of these steps. He realized that their home was not just a place to live. It was a space they needed to protect. By the end of the week, Tom felt a new confidence growing inside him. He and Lisa had transformed fear into strategy. They had learned to anticipate actions, recognize threats, and act calmly. The fake HOA officers had tried to intimidate them, but their attempts had failed. Lisa looked at Tom and smiled. "No matter what happens next, we are ready," she said. Tom smiled back, feeling a sense of pride and safety he had never felt before. He knew that together they could handle anything. Their home was secure and their minds were sharp. Whatever the fake officers tried next, they would meet it with calm strength and careful planning. The week that followed was quiet on the surface, but Tom and Lisa knew that the fake HOA officers had not given up. They had learned to stay alert, watching the street carefully and monitoring the security cameras for any unusual activity. Lisa reminded Tom that patience and observation were their best tools. One morning, Lisa noticed movement on the camera near the side of the house. A man in a dark jacket was standing close to the fence, pretending to look at his phone. Lisa called Tom over and quietly explained what she saw. "They are testing our attention," she said. "We need to act smart, not react hastily." Tom nodded, understanding that Lisa's calm judgment was their advantage. Lisa decided it was time to take action without confrontation. She created a plan to make it clear that their home could not be accessed without proper authorization. She rearranged some outdoor items to improve visibility, added motion-sensing lights near entrances, and placed signs that politely but firmly reminded visitors to check in with homeowners before approaching. Tom helped her, impressed by how her experience guided every step. That afternoon, the two men appeared again, trying to seem casual. They lingered near the sidewalk, glancing toward the windows and pretending to talk to each other. Lisa stayed inside, observing their movements and making notes. She had learned that timing and careful observation were as important as any physical action. Tom watched, feeling a mixture of pride and confidence. He realized that Lisa's skill was in seeing things most people would miss. The men tried to knock on the door, but the motion-sensing lights turned on, drawing attention from the street. Lisa's subtle changes had already made it clear that anyone attempting to intimidate would be noticed. The men looked startled and moved away quickly. Lisa and Tom watched from the window, noting the direction the men took as they left the neighborhood. Later, Lisa reviewed all the footage and notes from the past week. She noticed patterns in the men's behavior. They returned at similar times, tried to appear casual, and avoided neighbors who might notice them. Lisa explained to Tom that understanding these patterns allowed them to anticipate actions without confrontation. Tom realized that her approach combined patience, strategy, and calm observation, skills that kept them safe. That evening, Lisa shared her plan for the coming days. They would continue monitoring the neighborhood, documenting all suspicious activity and keeping their home secure. She encouraged Tom to stay alert but not anxious. "Knowledge and preparation are our best tools," she reminded him. Tom understood that fear was useless, but awareness and calm action were powerful. Over the next few days, the neighborhood watch became more involved. Neighbors who had noticed unusual activity agreed to keep an eye out and report anything suspicious. Lisa coordinated with them quietly, ensuring that the fake officers would have no opportunities to approach unnoticed. Tom realized how much strength came from teamwork and preparation. One morning, a small envelope appeared at their door, but this time it contained no threats, only a note saying that compliance would be checked soon. Lisa smiled calmly and showed Tom. "They are realizing that we will not be intimidated," she said. "Our calm, careful approach is working." Tom felt a deep sense of relief. They had turned fear into strategy and uncertainty into confidence. By the end of the week, the fake HOA officers had stopped appearing near the house. Lisa explained that their presence had been noticed by others and that the officers likely understood that intimidation would not work. Tom felt proud of how she had handled the situation. Her experience had guided them through the challenge without confrontation or chaos. That night, Tom and Lisa sat together in the living room, reflecting on the events. "I never realized how much preparation and calm could change everything," Tom said. Lisa nodded. "It's not about reacting with fear. It's about staying aware, staying calm, and taking smart actions. That is how we protect ourselves." Tom smiled, feeling safe and confident. He knew that whatever challenges came next, they would meet them together, ready and unshaken. The fake officers had been a test, and Tom realized they had passed it. He felt grateful for Lisa's calm strength, her careful planning, and her ability to turn threats into lessons. Their home was secure, and their confidence had grown stronger than ever. Tom and Lisa had grown confident over the past weeks. Their home was secure, their routines carefully observed, and their awareness heightened. Yet both knew that the fake HOA officers could return at any moment. Lisa reminded Tom that staying prepared meant staying calm, no matter what appeared outside. One bright morning, as Tom watered the garden, he noticed a familiar car parked across the street. His heart raced, but Lisa came outside, her expression calm and focused. "Do not approach," she said gently. "Let's watch first." The men inside the car seemed tense, glancing repeatedly toward the house. Lisa quickly signaled for Tom to step inside, and they both moved quietly to the living room where the cameras covered the front yard clearly. Lisa studied the men closely. She noticed subtle signs of hesitation, like the way they fidgeted with their clipboards and avoided eye contact with neighbors. "They are testing us one last time," she said. "Stay calm and follow my lead." Tom nodded, realizing that Lisa's attention to detail allowed them to predict the men's actions without confrontation. The men approached the porch, pretending to check the mailbox. Lisa spoke through the window, her voice steady and firm. "Can I help you?" The men froze. One of them attempted to respond with a rehearsed line about checking compliance, but Lisa raised her hand slightly, signaling him to stop. "You are not allowed on this property without proper identification," she said clearly. "Please leave." The men exchanged uneasy glances. Lisa noticed how nervous they were becoming. Her careful observation had revealed that they were unprepared for resistance and attention. "They expected fear," she whispered to Tom. "They didn't expect calm and strategy." Tom felt a sense of pride. He had learned from Lisa how to face challenges with confidence rather than panic. Lisa continued to monitor their actions through the cameras. She noticed the men trying to look for alternative ways onto the property, moving along the side of the house. Lisa had already prepared for this. Motion-activated lights turned on as they stepped too close to the side gate, illuminating the area clearly. The men froze again, realizing they had been noticed. Lisa smiled subtly. Her preparation had created a situation where intimidation would no longer work. Meanwhile, Tom took notes and documented everything. Lisa explained why each action mattered. "Every movement they make tells us their intent. Observation keeps us safe without needing confrontation." Tom realized how much he had learned from her. They were not only protecting their home but also understanding human behavior through careful, calm observation. After several minutes, the men finally retreated, realizing that every attempt to approach had been noticed and recorded. Lisa ensured that the security cameras captured their departure. Tom watched as the car drove slowly away, its passengers uneasy and silent. Lisa turned to him and said, "This is how it ends. They have learned that we are not intimidated." Tom felt a deep sense of relief. Their patience, calmness, and careful planning had paid off. That night, Lisa and Tom reviewed all the footage and notes from the past weeks. They discussed the lessons they had learned: vigilance, calm observation, preparation, and strategic thinking. Tom realized that the experience had strengthened not only their security, but also their trust in each other. Lisa had taught him how to stay calm in tense situations and how to transform fear into action. Tom looked at Lisa and smiled. "I can't believe how much I have learned from you," he said. Lisa returned the smile. "It's not just about skills," she replied. "It's about mindset. Calm, awareness, and preparation are more powerful than fear. That is how we stay safe." The fake HOA officers had tried to intimidate them, but Tom and Lisa had turned the situation into a lesson in strength, strategy, and teamwork. Their home was secure, their confidence had grown, and they knew that no one would threaten them without facing careful observation and planning. For the first time in weeks, Tom felt a sense of peace. He realized that challenges could be met with calm and intelligence, and that Lisa's ex-military experience had transformed their approach to everyday life. Together, they had faced intimidation and turned it into a victory of patience, strategy, and confidence. After the tension of the past weeks, Tom and Lisa finally felt the neighborhood returning to its usual calm. The fake HOA officers had not been seen again, and the small car that had appeared so often stayed away. Tom noticed a peacefulness he had not felt since the first visit, and Lisa shared his relief while remaining quietly vigilant. That morning, Tom and Lisa decided to walk around their block. The sun was bright, the air fresh, and neighbors were greeting each other like any normal day. Tom realized how much he had learned during this experience. He had learned about patience, observation, and the importance of staying calm under pressure. Most of all, he had learned to trust Lisa's judgment completely. Lisa noticed a few children playing near the sidewalk. She smiled and waved to them, her calm presence reassuring everyone. "We have done what we needed to," she said to Tom. "Our home is secure, our neighbors are aware, and we are prepared for anything. That is enough." Tom nodded, understanding that preparation and awareness had become a part of their daily life. Back at home, they reviewed the security system together. Every camera angle, every motion sensor, and every alarm had been tested and improved over the past weeks. Tom felt a sense of accomplishment. They had turned fear into knowledge and knowledge into confidence. Lisa, as always, remained calm and methodical, guiding each step with experience and care. Later that afternoon, Lisa suggested a small project. They decided to organize the garage not just for tidiness but to ensure that everything important could be accessed safely and securely. Tom worked alongside her, noticing how she arranged items with precision and foresight. He realized that her ex-military training had influenced more than just safety. It had taught them efficiency and planning in everyday life. As they worked, Tom thought about the fake officers. They had tried to intimidate him and Lisa, but they had underestimated the power of calm, careful planning. Tom understood that real strength was not about confrontation or anger. It was about patience, awareness, and teamwork. He smiled at Lisa, grateful for her guidance. That evening they sat on the porch together. The sky was painted with colors of sunset, and the quiet neighborhood seemed peaceful once more. Tom felt a deep sense of security, not because no threats existed, but because he knew they had the skills and calm mindset to handle any challenge. Lisa leaned back in her chair, looking at Tom with a soft smile. "We have learned a lot," she said, "about patience, observation, and the importance of staying calm. This experience has shown us that fear can be managed when we respond with strategy and awareness." Tom nodded, feeling proud of how much they had both grown through the situation. They spent the rest of the evening planning small improvements around the house, not because they feared another visit, but because preparation had become a habit. Each step, each small decision, reminded Tom that security was not just about locks or alarms. It was about thinking ahead and acting with calm intelligence. By bedtime, Tom felt a sense of peace he had never known. He realized that the events of the past weeks had strengthened their home, their confidence, and their bond. Lisa had shown him that experience, calmness, and careful planning could turn even the most worrying situations into opportunities to grow. As they turned off the lights and prepared for sleep, Tom looked at Lisa and whispered, "Thank you for keeping us safe." Lisa smiled and held his hand. "We protect each other," she replied. "That is the most important thing." The fake HOA officers were gone and the threat had passed. Tom and Lisa had faced intimidation with calm strategy, observation, and preparation. Their home was secure, their minds were alert, and their confidence had grown stronger than ever. They had learned that true safety was not just about locks or fences. It was about awareness, teamwork, and staying calm under pressure. For the first time in weeks, Tom and Lisa could truly relax. They had faced a challenge, turned it into a lesson, and come out stronger. Their home was safe, their bond unshaken, and their confidence unbreakable. Whatever challenges the future might bring, they knew they could face them together, prepared, calm, and united.